Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everybody? What is this? Must have been from lunch. How's everybody today? Happy 4th of July. If I don't see you tomorrow, I'm going to go up to the mall up north and get some more shirts and pants and neat stuff like that. And let's see. Let's look at baseball yesterday. I had a pretty good day. So we had Cleveland over 9 at 1. Pitt under 8 lost. The Mets won. Mets won. The Yankees lost. Graham Ashcraft beat them. Toronto over 8 won. Atlanta lost to the 49ers. Philadelphia won. KC lost. Milwaukee over 11, 4-3. They lost. Baltimore won. And the Dodgers over 9 won. Okay, so I hit the last two. So we lose Pitt. We hit the Mets. We lose the Yankees. We hit Toronto. So we're even right now. And then we got Atlanta, which loses. Philly, which wins. Milwaukee over loses. Baltimore and the Dodgers win. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 losers, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 winners. So 5 and 4. And the five units split, Toronto and Atlanta. And then Philly wins as a 5 unit, and the Dodgers win as a 5 unit. They had a few units there. All right, let's look at 7-3, and I notice nothing till tonight for some reason. And we start with the White Sox in Cleveland, high-scoring game yesterday. Eric Fetty, 5-3 with the 3-2-3 against Gavin Williams, 0-0 with an 0-0-0. Cleveland's a big favorite, even though this guy is 0-0 with an 0-0-0. That's pretty strange. He has Pitt. I don't get it. Why is he 0-0? Oh, because this is all last year. So he hasn't pitched this year. He is normally a starter. His ERA last year was 6.35, so he's a pig. Over 8. I'm going to go over with Cleveland again. Cleveland over 8. We'll play it for 3 units. Just a second. I need my coffee. This coffee's hot. All right, so let's start with Cleveland over 8. The first game's 6:40. It's 4. So you got 2 hours. All right. St. Louis and Pitt went over yesterday. Miles McCullough, 6-7 with a 5.32. Jared Jones, 5-6 with 3.66. Probably goes over, but I'm not playing it tonight. Too inconsistent with Pitt. I don't know what to do with him. The new guy pitched pretty good last time, but I don't know who Jared Jones is. Boston and Miami. Boston minus 130 and 8. Brian Bello 7-5 with the 5.55 against Trevor Rogers 1-8 with the 4. So I'm going to go Boston. They won yesterday. Let's go Boston 3 units. I mean, I got a guy with a 1-8 with a 5 ERA. I don't think he's going to win. My guy's 7-5 with a terrible ERA. It's got to go over 8, but I'm gonna just trust that Trevor Rogers can't throw. The Mets in Washington had the Mets yesterday. They won. Mets are 145-9 today. Christian Scott 0-2 with a 3.90 against Michael Parker 5-4 with a 3.32. Yeah, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I can take the Mets under or over. I'm going to leave this alone. Not enough information for me to analyze. So we were talking about variables yesterday, which is these people trying to do these algorithms and analytics and all this bullshit. Doesn't work because there's too many variables and you can't properly weight the variables. One guy last year, he wanted me to look at his, and like in football, college, I think it was pro football, and he went like 10-2, and and I'm like, it can't be done. The fact you had a good week, happens, but don't tell me it's the formula. And then the next week he did nothing, and then I never heard from him again. People are always looking for the easy way out. I've given you the easiest way out. I'm giving you how to read it, and that's all you need to do. All right, Cincinnati and the Yankees. Cincinnati won with Graham Ashcroft, who sucks. The Yankees are 185-9. Andrew Abbott 7-6 with the 3.41. Carlos Rodon 9-5 with the 4. All right, we're going over here. We're not fucking around with the Yankees. We're gonna go fuck around with the over. Over 9, 3 units. So I'd like to do that with the Mets, but I don't know what to do with the Mets. They're starting to hit now. Lindor's starting to hit. But their pitcher 0-2 with a 3.90. I don't know what to do with it. Houston and Toronto. We got my man Ronel Blanco, the no-hitter guy, 8-3 with a 2.49. UC Kikuchi 4-8 with a 4.18. He used to be good, not anymore. We gotta take Houston here. I'll take my man Bianco, and he kind of gets you where you don't know what to do with him. He can throw no hitter. You're not going to get over. So if you do get over, it's because Houston's pounding Toronto, and you see Kikuchi. So we're just going to take Houston here. I know Bianco's been mighty rough. All right, 49ers and the Braves. Let's see. Atlanta minus 210 and 7.5. Jordan Hicks for the Niners, 4-4 with the 3.36. My man Chris Sale, 10-3 with the 2.79. Hello. I'm going to take Chris Sale again. I'm going to take him 5 units at home. The Niners beat him, and Hicks is 4-4 with the 3.36. I think Atlanta, it could be low scoring. And maybe it will, but I'll take Chris Sale here. This is always the problem. Do I take Chris Sale or do I take the game under? And it works both ways. But I'm gonna go Chris Sale. San Diego and Texas. Texas minus 135, 8.5. Adam Mazur 1-2 with the 7.25 against John Gray for Texas, 3-4 at the 3.77. We got to go Texas. I'm not going to bet it, but I'll take Texas. Adam Mazur 1-2 with a 7.25. Enough said. Philly and the Cubs. Now I've been keeping an eye. Bryce Harper has not played. He tweaked his hamstring Saturday. It's now Wednesday. We'll see what happens. We got Zach Wheeler 9-4 at 273, and Shota Imamanga 7-2, 307 for the Cubbies. This is a beautiful under. Philly under 7.5. And with no Bryce Harper, we'll make it a 5-unit. So here's where no Bryce Harper comes in, is to play the game under. Watch him play today. But I mean, Shota Imaganga for the Cubbies is 7-2 with a 307. So you're not getting a lot of runs here. Zach Wheeler 9-4, 273. And without Harper. So yeah, let's go under. The game is in Wrigley, but apparently not the wind blowing out because it's a 7.5 total. So definitely like this game under. Tampa Bay, Kansas City. Tampa 115-8. The game's in KC. Ryan Peapaud, Gray Poupon 4-4 with the 4.40 ERA against Michael Waka 4-6 with the 3.91. What do you do with this mess? I would say this is over, but I'm not going to bet it. KC over 8. Hard one to bet, but I do like. I don't like either pitcher. Waka is confusing. You never know, is he any good? And then he's 4-6 with the 3.91. So you don't know what to do with it. So we're just gonna. Market isn't over. We're not gonna bet it. Detroit and Mini. Detroit. Tarek Skubal starting to choke. This is the third game in a row. He's let up a lot of runs, just like the other guy. Minis are 165-9. And keep in mind, Minnesota beat their ace. Look out. So we've got Kender Montegro, 0-2 with a 9.35. Sounds like the Tigers got another winner against David Fiesta, 1-0 with a 9. Looks like they got another winner. Oy, what do we do here? So we got to go to the bullpen. Okay. Detroit bullpen 4.27. Yeah, Minnesota bullpen 3.76. So we got to go over. Both pitchers have 9 ERAs. The over-under is 9. So I'm going to go Mini over 9. These pitchers just suck. So we'll go 3 units. All right, Milwaukee, Colorado. We had it over. It didn't get close to over. They ended up 7. It was like 3 in the 8th inning. They ended up 4-3 game. Colin Ray, 7-2 with a 3.61 against Dakota Fanning, 2-11 with the 5.84. I'm taking Milwaukee for 3 units. Dakota Fanning's terrible. She's 2-11 with the 5.84, and their bullpen sucks. Colin Ray, 7-2 with the 3.61 for Milwaukee. They can hit the ball. Go Milwaukee, beat Navy. California against Oakland, AFC West battle. California minus 115-8. Davis Daniel 1-0 with an 0-0 against Joey Estes 2-3 with the 5.24. I'm thinking it's Dave Davis, the old bowler. Davis Daniel Davis. The guys pitched one game. He lost 5-0. No, he won 5. He pitched 8 innings, gave up 4 hits and no runs against the Tigers. Last year he was 1-1. He pitched 3 games, didn't start, and this year he started the 1. So he's not pitched enough to really get anything on him. He's from he went to Auburn. Bo Jackson, Frank Thomas. What do we do with this guy? Davis Daniel. It should be Danny Davis, the former wrestler referee. It is ironic because ERA is 0.00 in one game, 8 innings. I don't know. What do you do with the guy? Who knows? I got to leave it alone. I don't have enough info on Dave Davis here. All right, Baltimore, Seattle. Seattle minus 125-7. Dean Kremer, 3-4 with a 4.32 for Baltimore. Logan Gilbert, 5-4 with a 2.72. Who won yesterday? Baltimore we had. Baltimore we won. Seattle does not. They got 5 hitters that 3 don't hit 200, 2 don't hit 220. How are you going to score a run, Seattle? That's why the over-under is 7. I got to take Baltimore in principle that they're the better team. And I don't know how good Logan Gilbert is. 5-4, 2.72, good ERA, but doesn't mean he's going to win the game. So we'll take Baltimore there. No bet, though. In Arizona and the Dodgers, I have the Dodgers minus 210 and 9, but I don't have pitchers. No pitchers, no bet. All right, so let's review. Cleveland over 8, 3 units. Boston, 3 units. The Yankees over 8, I think. Yankees are over what? Yankees over 9, sorry. I wrote my 9 sloppy, looked like an 8. All right, Yankees over 9. Houston to win, 5 units. Atlanta, 5 units. Philly under 7.5, 5 units. Minnesota over 9, 3 units. Milwaukee, 3 units. The Yankees were 5 units. The other games, Texas, Kansas City over 8, and Baltimore, we like, but we don't want to bet. Not enough good information to bet it. So let's see how we do. We'll see what's going on. I was looking at something about NFC. They're the rookie of the year in the NFL. And who popped up but Caleb. And I got to thinking, and one thing led to another, and I said, well, he's not going to be good. I got into an argument in the sauna with Caleb. So the guy starts bitching about the Tigers, and I agree with him. And then the guy starts bitching about something else, and then he says, "Look at me, though. I'm a Lions fan." And after I stopped laughing, I assumed he lost the bet. So I sat there and I said, "Okay, they're not going to be that good this year. They had a very easy schedule, and this year the schedule is much harder," which he started getting. He goes, "Oh yeah, the Bears and the Packers are much stronger," and I go, "The Bears aren't stronger. They got Caleb. Caleb's not that good. If you watched the Notre Dame or UCLA game, or no, I don't think he played UCLA. Yeah, no, he did. He was on USC. Yeah, if you watch those 2 games, he didn't do shit." And then the guy, of course, walked out because, me, I I hit them where they lie. So let's see. So I was looking at the stats from last year, which I have in my spreadsheet. And it said rookie of the year, Caleb was the favorite. And then it was like Bo Nix is the bet. He's like 5th or 6th. And Drake May and JJ McCarthy, they won't even play. What are they doing? You're going to take them offensive rookie? I think the second guy was Jaden Daniels. So it gets down to, so Caleb's, it says 30-5. And I go, he threw a lot more than 5 interceptions, I thought. And he's playing primetime ball, the stinker. What do I mean by that? So we look at his stats, and his stats are Caleb, 30 touchdowns, 5 picks. 5 picks? He had 5 against Notre Dame. But then I look, and he's got 35 sacks. So he's playing like primetime. Primetime, 27 touchdowns and 3 picks and 52 sacks. So Prime said, take the sack instead of the interception. So 52 times he took the sack, the most out there. But Caleb, 35 times. So then I looked at buddy Bo Nix, 45 touchdowns, 3 picks, but only 5 sacks. What's going on here? So he's getting rid of the ball. He can read the defense. He's getting rid of the ball, or he's running out of the pocket, but he's not sitting around just standing there, which clearly is what Primetime Junior and Caleb are doing. They're running around looking at, they don't know what to look at, and then they're holding the ball too long, getting sacked. Now, Jaden Daniels was 40-4 with 22 sacks, and Penix was 36-11 with only 11 sacks. So look at the difference: 11 sacks for Penix, and then you got Kayla with 35, and then you got Prime at 52. Yeah, so it led me to think about it. It led me to think about how much do we value sacks. I've got team sacks in my analysis, how many times we sack the other team, but I don't have quarterback sacks, and it's in the table, so I can just do another VLOOKUP and grab it. So I decided to try to see if it makes heads or tails. Now, the fact that Caleb got sacked 35 times, so we had 30 touchdowns and 40 problems between sacks and interceptions. I guess you can look at it like that, and if we do, then Bo Nix is by far the best player. Haynes King, Georgia Tech, 27-16, but only 15 sacks. Preston Stone, SMU, 28-6, 12 sacks. I mean, most of these guys, it's not a lot. Dylan Gabriel is going to Oregon, 36-6, 16 sacks. So why is Caleb so the rookie of the year? What is that? So I'm sitting there, and I decided to add it to my spreadsheet, the sacks. So I did insert a column, another VLOOKUP, give me the sacks for the guy. And I think it tells you two things. One, he can't make decisions, so he's sitting there in the pocket, waiting as they come and sack him, or he can't read it and he can't get rid of the ball. So this is what the Bears have to look forward to. He's going to go back. Nothing's going to be open because this is the NFL, and he's going to take sack after sack after sack. He doesn't run. He's not like Lamar. He's going to just go. So add that variable in there, analytics, which I'm sure they don't. You can't have them all. That's why analytics doesn't work. But that's the point. I think you can tell a good quarterback, Bo Nix, gets rid of the ball, doesn't take a sack, and doesn't throw an interception. So he sees the play, he gets rid of it, or he runs, but he doesn't sit there for 5 minutes, take the sack, because he can't read before the snap. So I'm starting to like Bo Nix much, much better. I think he'll do great at Denver. And then Jalen Daniel, 40-4, but 22 sacks. Okay, he had to play Alabama. Understood. Michael Penix, 36-11 with 11 sacks. That's not bad. So 11 interceptions, maybe a little high, but he had to play Oregon twice. And then you've got, but only 11 sacks. So he reads well too. And not all the interceptions are the quarterback's fault, as we see, where the ball gets tipped or the receiver tips it into the air, and you're like, oh, no, don't do that. And there's 12 guys waiting to intercept it. But that's what tells me. McLeod, Texas State, they had 23 sacks. Joey Aguilar, App State, 19 sacks, 10 picks, 19 sacks. Kelton Slater, Liberty. This is why Liberty is so good. 32 touchdowns, 6 picks, and only 9 sacks. And this is why they were like undefeated into the Oregon game. So very good. Memphis, we're going to be watching this year. 32-9 and 19 sacks for Seth Hennigan. So I'm starting to like, the lights are going on again and again and again. Austin Reed, Western Kentucky, 31-11, 7 picks. Dylan Gabriel, 30-16, 16 picks. So, I mean, this is what Deion saying. Primetime Junior, 27-3 and 52 sacks. Well, we're not supposed to notice the sacks. We're only going to look at the interceptions. You know what this is beginning to remind me of? Primetime and Primetime Junior is LeBron and his son and that ball guy with his son. Like they're getting their sons into it. Like, why are they getting involved? And LeBron Jr. is now on the Lakers. Oh, well, that'll make him championship team. Can he play? I mean, I never heard of the guy. I didn't even know he had a son. How does a guy like LeBron Jr. even play? The dad's a billionaire, so he's living a very good life. Yeah, I want to be like my dad and knock people over and not get called for fouls. So I'm not really sure how that's going to work because he's not motivated. The guy in the inner city and he's playing basketball, right? He hits his way out. Mike Rozier in Nebraska was in New Jersey in a bad part of the town. Okay, he had to get out. LeBron Jr. does not have to get out of anywhere. So it's just very, very strange. How motivated is this guy? And I'm sure he's getting a good contract. I'm sure LeBron's going, well, if you don't pay him, then I'm leaving and I'm taking him with or whatever. It's ridiculous sports this right now, and they're apologizing to China. So I've added that in just because. So the odds on the NFL Player of the Year, who would be stupid enough to bet this? Right? I mean, if you think about it, Utah football names defensive coordinator Morgan Scalley is successor to Kyle Whittingham. Well, hopefully he isn't leaving for a while. Okay, no retirement day. It scared me there. So what is this? Maybe NFL news? Rookie of the year? Oh, Caleb's not signed. He's unsigned. Oh my God. Huh, where did this I was just reading it. Anyway, they had odds on rookie of the year. CJ Stroud won it last year. Yeah, you won't even hear about him this year. But yeah, I mean it's how do you bet that? For sure you throw out Caleb and you throw out why they even have Drake May and JJ McCarthy in it is they won't even play. They can be rookie of the year. In what world are you living in? So I think it goes to Daniels or Bo Nix. I'd take Bo Nix. He's like 1,000 to 1. But not that I'm going to bet that, but that's how I would look at it. I don't know where it went. Anyway. So let's go to gold. Our favorite subject. Gold is 23.55, up $25. Nice day. And there hasn't been really any down on it, right? And this is what I expect to see tomorrow. There isn't a derivative going down, and the US is on vacation for the next 2 days as far as COMEX is concerned. So I expect to see the same thing the next 2 days. So that gets us to 2,400 by Friday, because it's still open in China and in Europe. The COMEX is still going. Silver's 30.49, up $1. So this is more normal, but we understand it's paper. We understand these are derivatives, and Eddie Murphy's doing this. So we're waiting for the real prices. So yesterday I got my little coins. I think I showed you, or did I show you the day before? So I got my $half in littler containers. Really, they didn't have $half little containers. They have this size container with a ring around it where the $half goes. So it's a wrong size. So I put them in my Maple Leaf ounce container because it's smaller, because the Maple Leaf's smaller. So it fit for the $half, but it's not a perfect fit. It's a little bit of room. And then I just got an email that I wonder if that was the phone call. I just got an email that my coin stuff's coming. Busy. So I was supposed to get my big holders for my ounce coins on Saturday, and then I just got an email, you're getting it today. It's coming in between 4:30 and 8:30, which is 4:30 is now. Let's go to the Gmail and see if anything's there. Oh, I guess it's delivered. Let me go get it. Just a second, boys. So I got Amazon Prime Time. The guy probably gets a bonus to deliver it, or he's probably going on vacation and didn't want to get stuck with the Saturday delivery, so he delivered it early, would be my guess. And here we go. So it's supposed to be for 1 ounces. So I don't know if these are not the right ones. These are too small. I'll have to verify the product. These do not look like they would hold 20, and they're not wide enough. This is the 1 ouncer, and it nowhere fit, not even close. So I have to check that out, but this is not what I wanted, or it is what it is what I wanted, but not what I wanted. So there's no way these hold 1 ounce coins. So what a waste of time. That's why I hate Amazon, right? If I would have saw this at the store, I would have tested it, but I would have saw this is not what I ordered. The one I ordered was 20. Let me see. I thought it was a green. I don't know. Let's see. So these are okay. Let's call them orange. These are no way. Well, maybe it fits a 1 ounce coin without the container. That could be the problem because they're trying to show you the 1 ounce coin. But as you can see, this is bigger, but I don't think. So this is why I hate Amazon. This is why I hate online, right? Because clearly, see, it's only this big, but with this, it's that big. So let's see if this fits. But I don't want my gold unprotected. Yeah, see, this doesn't fit for that either. So I don't know what the hell they sold me, or they're misleading the sale. Um, it's misleading that um, it's misleading that it would fit a 1 ounce. So I'm going to I'll have to verify it. I like how they show a picture. So they're saying, look, we dropped it. We dropped it off there. So what the fuck? This is the Silver Eagle, which is I have it in white. I don't want the airtight coin holders. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where my yeah, I don't see the 1 ounce square large dollar. Maybe it's this one. I don't know. I have to see. Coin tube holder 10 pack. They look small, regardless. I don't know. I'll have to Google it, but this is disappointing. I don't know what this fits. This is smaller than the silver ones that I got. Right? This isn't fitting. This is maybe, I don't know what. It's not for a 1 ounce gold, that's for sure. All right, it's a disappointment. I thought I could put them in, but when I saw that these were this small, I mean, I can probably only get 5 or 6 of them in anyway, because I want to put them in the frame. I don't want to put them in just the coin. Like that's how I have the silvers, but these would not fit the silvers. So I don't know what I bought, and that's why I like to go to it. But I don't know. Maybe my coin stops closed until Tuesday anyway. But anyway, disappointing. Anyway, so we will add those interceptions to the analysis. So we got touchdowns, interceptions, and sacks. And that'll tell us, can the quarterback read a defense? So what do we got with Caleb? He can't read a defense, right? So we got big trouble with Caleb. Doesn't throw a lot of interceptions, but he doesn't throw the ball. So he's really in trouble there. Anyway, so I only wasted $13 on this. I'll have to. I thought I did 1 ounce. See, the problem is it's 1 ounce without the plastic. So, but even with this is way too small. This is not. I'll have to read the instructions, but this is not a 1 ounce thing. I'll have to see what I can get, but it's not anywhere near it. Maybe a quarter ounce. I could, I guess, throw my quarter ounces in here. And that'll free up another one, but I can't get my my ounces are in too big of a frame. There's the maple leafs are smaller than the eagles, so I could theoretically take my quarter ounces and put them in here, and then, but these are way too small, and then put the I mean, the silver ones like up to here. I don't know what these are, a piece of garbage. Anyway, what else? So bricks, there's really nothing. We're waiting for October to figure out what to do with when gold should start moving up. Silver, well, gold and silver. So that's bricks. And then comex, we can see, I don't know if it's starting to blow up yet. It's the gold should not go have derivatives because the gold, you need physical. Silver should still be a problem, even though it's up a little bit today. They can pound it with derivatives because there's no, you can't force them to take physical. But I think what they're doing, China and India, are just buying from the mines. They're not buying off of comex because there's too much demand for it. So I don't know if Shanghai is going to start pricing silver, and then it'll be $40 and comex will be 30, and then that doesn't work for comex. So either way, comex is on its way out. Watching a few things on the war. I mean, Russia won, but the U.S. They're fucking around with Putin. I don't know. Maybe they know something we don't, that Putin won't nuke. Maybe that's what they think, and I don't know about that. He seems pretty serious that he would nuke, but what would he nuke is the question. And is he going to nuke New York City or? But our government's so incompetent and so corrupt. It's really hard. I never did find that video that with a crazy guy, the felon was on, and I went to because somebody agreed with me, and then I don't see it. I did get a couple of likes on my one where the guy had the 7 things you can do in inflation, and it was like gold was number 7 instead of number 1. So I said, gold's number 1. All the rest are going to go to 0 when the dollar goes out, and people are like agreeing with me, which I like. Let's see, what do we got here? This is all like propaganda. Zelensky dragging us into World War III. See, to me, this is all bullshit. I mean, there's not going to be a World War III. It doesn't benefit anybody. The defense contractors who are running this, if they get a nuclear war, they're not going to they're not going to make any more sales. China doesn't want it. Russia doesn't want it because they just want to sell their oil. And now that they have the gold, they want the gold to go up. So I think a lot of this is the U.S. Crying because we don't have any gold, and they're trying to prevent this gold-backed currency because they know as soon as they do, the dollar's done, and that's what they're trying to do. Let's see. So Mark McGuire, no, Alligator
Breaking
did
news.
his thing.
Friday, 19th of April, 2024. A secret banking loophole known only...
They will go on a gold standard, of that I'm...
So we'll listen to a little bit of Alligator. He did one yesterday about Russia is poised to do something. Russia is poised to transform the world permanently. Well, We know they're going on the gold standard. They have to because their ruble. I looked at their FX and it was like 89 right now. So I know when I give Daria, it's been in the 90s. Initially, it went down to 60, and then started going back to the 90s. So let's listen to a little of Mark.
Convinced. And when they do, just so that everybody understands what this means, it means that Russian institutions, Russian banks, Chinese banks, banks in the Middle East, and so on and so forth, can go into Western markets, buy gold where the lease rate is 2%, sell it to the Reserve Bank the Central Bank of Russia, where the return currently is 16%. And because it will be tied to gold, it's like being paid 16% in gold. That's the way in which you build reserves. That is the role of interest rates, not trying to manage an economy.
I don't know what he's talking about. There is no rule of interest rates. It should be set by the market. I don't understand what he just said with the 2%, 16%. You can do that now if different countries have different interest rates. So this is what I was in the pool today. We'll get back to this in a minute. So I'm in the pool today and talking to two old ladies, just I do my running. And the ladies, so I tell them, well, I teach economics and football. It's a great combination. So I was explaining Titanic and gold. And I said, one of the things is my daughter played fast pitch softball and my other daughter was a little younger. So I was coach. So I was trying to teach the girls how to catch, how to hit, stuff like that. And I said, well, it's only worth it if I can't teach them unless they understand. So the point is, when you teach, is that the audience must understand what you're saying. Otherwise, it's worthless. So if I were just to teach and you didn't get it, I'm not doing my job, even though I can say, well, I taught them. They just didn't learn. I said, that's the bullshit way. I said, you got to learn it. So with that said, the Mark McGuire here, or Alligator, doesn't, what did he just say? I don't understand what he said, and I got a master's. I'm sure you didn't understand what he just said. I'm sure most of his audience didn't understand what he just said. Something about doing gold at 2% and then getting it in Russia at 16 and selling to the central bank. Okay, first of all, I don't think that applies to us. So he doesn't even understand. What does he think his audience is? Central banks, central bankers. This is the problem. He doesn't identify to his audience. So I'm not sure what the hell he just said. Let's go to the transcript. All right, let's go to the transcript and read that and see if we can figure out what the fuck this guy just said. What did Alligator say? They will go on a gold standard. Of that, I'm convinced. So he's talking, I guess, about Russia. This is the way it starts. And when they do just that, just so that everybody understands what this means the Russian institutions, Russian banks, Chinese banks, banks in the Middle East, and so on and so forth, can go into the Western markets, buy gold where the lease rate is 2%. What does that mean? The lease rate is 2%. So if you lease the gold, who's leasing gold? So the lease rate is 2%. Sell it to the Reserve Bank the central bank of Russia, where the return is 16%. And because it will be to gold, it's like being paid 16% in gold. Okay, I just read that. I don't know what he just said. It doesn't make any. I mean, you can't even read it straight. So the Middle East, they can go into Western markets and buy gold. Do we have gold? We don't even have gold. What's he talking about? Where the lease rate is 2%. I don't know what are we leasing the gold? Are they buying it? what does this 2% rate mean? Sell it to the central bank in Russia, where the return currently is 16%. What's he talking about? And because it will be gold, it's like being paid 16% in gold. I really honestly don't know what the hell the guy's talking about. I apologize. This makes, so you're leasing gold and then you sell it to Russia, but you're leasing it, you don't own it. And it's 16%, but it's like 16% gold. Sorry, I don't get it.
Which is always a disaster.
Alistair MacLeod says that Russia, facing Western sanctions due to the Ukraine conflict, is considering a shift to a gold standard. This would allow Russian and allied banks to buy gold at low interest rates in Western markets and sell it at higher rates to the Russian central bank, effectively earning profits in gold. This strategy aims to bolster Russia's financial reserves and stabilize its economy. Despite sanctions, Russia has...
So let me see. Russia's got 30,000 tons of gold. It's going to stabilize their currency. They already got 30,000. What the fuck? Their currency is very stable. They just got to go on the gold standard. And they are going on it in October, according to Mark McGuire. So I don't get this whole thing here.
Maintain economic resilience, focusing on Asian markets like India and China. The BRICS nations are also discussing a new trade currency backed by gold, potentially altering the global economic landscape by diminishing Western financial dominance and promoting a more balanced global order.
The inventive people in South Africa developed new technologies and everything to get, to deal with the problem. And the sanctions just didn't work. I mean, it just hit everybody else. And this is exactly what's happened with Russia. Now, I actually don't think Russia gives two hoots that they've lost all those dollars. I mean, because, the US has defaulted on its obligations. Let's face it, that's what's happened. They'll make, they'll make a bit of noise about it. Of course they will. But from the Russians' point of view, this is sending a signal to all their partners. And we're talking about 60%, or nations representing 60% of the world's population now, 35% of the world's GDP by purchasing power parity. That the Americans, basically, they will steal from you. And a lot of these nations also know that unless they kowtow to the Americans, there might be a revolution or, some sort of regime change forced upon them or whatever. So, I mean, there is a fear of the Americans, but that fear is being broken now by the fact that Russia, in conjunction with China, are, if you like, a viable home for all these nations who are, sort of, if you like, sick of the colonialism, if you like, of the West. The difference between a fiat currency and one which is actually on a gold standard. The fiat currency, it depends on faith. That is the watchword, not quantity. Though that does come into it. Let's face it. If you're unfashionable, if you're out of fashion, you got a problem. And that's why 16% interest rates in Russia. They will go on a gold standard, of that I'm convinced.
Alistair MacLeod discusses the parallels between South Africa's resilience to sanctions during apartheid and Russia's current response to Western sanctions. It argues that Russia, alongside China, is creating an economic alternative to the US-led financial system, diminishing the influence of the US dollar. The push towards a gold standard in Russia could enable banks to profit significantly, buying gold in Western markets at low rates and selling it domestically at higher rates. This potential shift, alongside BRICS nations' discussions of a gold-backed trade currency, signals a move away from fiat currencies. Overall, it predicts a transition towards more stable monetary systems. Let's return to the interview.
All right, before we return, so I don't get the price difference. Does Russia have a physical market where they're able to get more? I thought everything was comex, and it's 23.50 is what it is everywhere. So I don't know what they're talking about. It doesn't make any sense at all from my view. You're not buying it here cheap. First of all, we don't have any, so I don't know what you're doing unless he means buy it from comex. but it's the same price comex as Shanghai. So, or Shanghai's still using comex price plus a couple dollars. So yeah, I mean, that's the arbitrage. You buy it. I can buy it here for $23.50, and I can sell it in Russia for $2,400. Is that what they're saying? And who? So what am I going to fly to Russia with my coins and sell them for $2,400 there? They are going on a gold-backed currency. That'll happen in October. We all know that, and it will end the dollar. We all know that, and it's just Alligator says faith. Well, if you didn't print it to death, we would have faith in the dollar. But when you print 21 trillion and 130 for the petrodollar, you basically printed it to death. So that's why you lose trust. So the print comes first, and then you lose the trust. They didn't print it, nobody would lose trust in it. And so that's what Russia's doing. It's out of necessity. Fiat doesn't work. I mean, how do you not know that? It's never worked in the history of life. Fiat currency has never worked. Go ask the Romans and the French and the English, and we're doing a good job butchering it ourselves. It doesn't work. So therefore, the only thing that works is the gold-backed currency. So therefore, they realize this is all going to shit. We're getting out of it. We need a gold-backed currency. So I think it's just simple understanding that you have to have gold-backed currency because none of the currencies will stay. So what's the point? It's all unstable. If you have fiat dollars, there's no miracle. All right.
I saw a statistic that 70% of the employed workforce lives paycheck to paycheck. In other words, they don't have any savings. They can't put anything aside. Even worse, because rising interest rates, rising mortgage rates, and all the rest of it is already squeezing them very, very badly. I mean, as to your point about people getting behind on their mortgage payments, it's going to become a question, I think, of individuals are going to have to manage the relationships with their building societies and all the rest of it. I mean, building societies and banks, as you rightly point out, are going to be constructive on this. I mean, it's the old story, owe £100 to the bank and, you've got a problem. Owe £1 million to the bank and the bank's got a problem. That's really what that's what it boils in the same boat. They're going to, the way to manage this is don't just, but get into a dialogue with the bank, because the bank or the building society will recognize it has got a problem. It will not want to foreclose. That is the last resort. And, when this begins to snowball into even greater numbers, it's not even going to be a last resort. The whole system will have to be underwritten by the government, in effect. That, of course, leads to the dilution of the purchasing power of the currency. I mean, the liabilities coming down the road are just increasing all the time. But this is, if you're going to keep the roof over your own head, I think you're going to have to think seriously about your relationship with your bank, your mortgage provider, whatever. But that is rather beyond us. I mean, we're just talking about an economic scenario which we can already see is beginning to arise. But for those who can afford to do it, who don't have these obligations, I think there is an increasing urgency in order to get out of credit as much as possible. And credit is not just a bank deposit. I actually don't worry about bank deposits. I mean, you've got money, if you've got currency sitting in, say, NatWest Bank, which is half government owned anyway, that's not going to go bust. They're going to do anything they can to stop banks going bust. Let's face it.
Alistair MacLeod discusses the financial strain on individuals living paycheck to paycheck, exacerbated by rising interest and mortgage rates. With many unable to save, banks and building societies will likely work constructively with borrowers to avoid foreclosures, which could lead to government intervention and further currency dilution. Moreover, the potential shift of Russia towards a gold standard could challenge the dominance of the US dollar, stabilize the ruble, and impact global commodity markets, prompting a broader reevaluation of the global monetary system. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget.
All right. First of all, they are coming out BRICS with the gold backed currency. I don't know if Russia's going to do it also. Wouldn't surprise me. So how come Putin's smart enough to have gold and the U.S. isn't smart enough to have gold? This is one of my comments to the ladies in the pool. I made a comment of if we had gold in Fort Knox, why aren't we admitting to it? We have 36 trillion in debt. Why aren't we taking the gold to pay the debt off? It's costing us $1 trillion, about 1.5 trillion every basically 90 days. Well, if we have this gold, why aren't we using it? And if we don't have the gold, why aren't we buying the gold that we so elegantly keep down in comex? We're printing money and we're giving all this money to the Ukraine. Wouldn't it be better to buy gold with that money instead of giving it to Ukraine so the defense contractors can keep their thing? So I don't know. It just seems kind of weird, but I'm not buying it. I don't think we have. So the moral was if we had gold, we'd show it. We don't have it. And it's the only thing that works. So if you know that the dollar is going to zero, why are you not, why aren't you buying gold? If you know the dollar is going to collapse. Well, we want to control everybody with CBDCs. Well, you're not going to control anybody with CBDCs because if it's not backed by gold, it has no value, just like the dollar. There's no difference if you've got this or you got CBDCs. CBDC is just a digital dollar that isn't backed by gold, that isn't worth anything either. So the CBDC is not going to save anything. The only thing that can save you is gold. So I don't know what they're thinking or doing. I don't think there'll be CBDCs in America, maybe in Europe. I don't know. It's only in China and it doesn't work there. And then we don't deal with the central banks. I go to Chase or Comerica. I don't bank with the central bank. How's that going to work? So I don't know, but I think that's just hogwash. The central bank. I think it'll be like Bitcoin. If you want it, you can go buy it. But who's going to want it? They might stick like, oh, you want your tax return, you need CBCs. But I don't see how you get rid of paper dollars. There's too many transactions that, how would I give Daria money. Okay, I use PayPal. I send her $100 out of my checking account. She gets it and takes it and goes and buys food. How are we going to do that? Well, I guess maybe she would hit some sort of debit card that she has. And when she goes to the store to buy food, she can do that. I don't know. I mean, I know you can do a lot. Like I pay all my bills online electronically, not digitally, electronically. So I don't know how that's going to work, but there are things that need dollars, right? So I'm going to go up to this mall tomorrow. Let's say I want, a lunch. Well, let's say I want popcorn. It's $1. Do I really want to use my debit card for $1 to buy popcorn or something like that? I don't know. So we will see. But should be a big activity the next 2 days. The no comex. Then you'll see the reality of the United States not in comex for 2 days. As we're seeing it today, there's no drops. You won't see drops tomorrow or Friday. It'll probably go up a lot because when they're off on holiday, we kick in our put options. Now that we're not in the game, let's see them really jack up the gold. But we'll see it. We should be seeing 3,000 soon. And like I said, by October, as soon as they announce gold-backed currency, price of gold goes way up. And as I explained to the lady, I was like teaching class in the lap lane. I said to her, well, if you have dollars, you switch it to gold. And if you want to, you switch the gold back to dollars. I mean, it's not a big deal. You're going to get spot for your gold. You're going to get dollars back. So if you have, you know, you spent $2,000 on gold, now it's 2,300, or spot's 2,350. You'll get 2,350 for it. So if you're scared of getting rid of your dollars and buying gold, it's not like you're buying a barbecue or a car. I mean, it's just simply trading the money for gold, and then you can always trade back the gold, but the gold's going up in value, right? When I started a couple years ago, as soon as Biden took over, he started printing and printing. I immediately bought, and I think I bought it 1,700 my gold, and now it's at 23 and a half, 2,400. So keep in mind that's not that long ago, and I've made $700 an ounce. So that's really what's happening. So keep that in mind. If I need to, I sell the gold back and get dollars. It's the most liquid asset, and that's there you go with it. So that's the point of the gold. It's always money, and you can always get the dollar back, provided the dollar has a value, which it's running. I'm telling you, I think it's zero. I think people still use it, but I really don't think it has a value. And if you look at Venezuela and Zimbabwe, and they're carrying around all this money to get to a dollar, I would say that dollar is zero. I mean, you could maybe call it, a 0.5% or something, but once you get down to that level, it's zero. I mean, it isn't worth anything. The thing we don't notice is because most of the stuff is made in America, or like, when we get our groceries or our food, and a lot of it's made in America, we don't notice it. We're not seeing it. But anything coming from China or Europe is going to start costing us because the dollar's worthless. But anyway, Russia has plenty of gold on a gold standard. I don't get the 2 to 16%. Makes absolutely no sense to me. I think what he's trying to say is I don't even know what the lease means, right? Aren't I buying the gold? I'm not leasing the gold. So I buy the gold. What do I pay, a 2% commission? Is that what he's trying to say? And then I sell it, and I'm loaning it to Russia, and they're giving me 16%. Why am I doing that? Why aren't I buying it and selling it to them? Why am I leasing it? So that whole thing made no sense at all. As far as living paycheck to paycheck, there's a lot of unemployment. So there's a lot of people who aren't working. The people living paycheck to paycheck, I don't know. The costs have gone up a little bit. It depends on the job. I mean, if you're in finance like me, I wasn't living paycheck to paycheck. That's why I can buy gold, because I'm saving and I'm buying gold with the savings. So I don't know where he gets his things, but I don't know. Alligator's been better. That wasn't a really good. Let's see. What else do we have? I was watching something on the Vatican Empire, how corrupt the Vatican is, and they do money laundering all over the place. And then I saw how they let all the Nazis go. They were responsible. The Nazis would come to Italy, come to the Vatican, and escape. And most of them went to Argentina. And Argentina is a German country in South America. I mean, you're all familiar with Argentina, but all the Nazis went there, and it's German speaking, and the whole thing is basically Germany Junior, Argentina. So Hitler went there, and all the big SS and Gestapo guys went there. So it's pretty scary. But their point was, well, the Vatican was against communism, so the Germans were supposedly against communism too. Yeah, I don't know about that. They seem to be worse than communists. They killed everybody, and they were just ruthless. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Here's one in Canada, the worst economy ever. How Canada's economy became, and it's mostly people coming in from the borders. So I don't know what it says about bringing in people into your country to live there without inviting them. Like if I wanted to be a citizen of Switzerland, I'd have to apply. I wouldn't just show up and say, I'm a citizen now. But in America and Canada, apparently you just walk in off the border and just start working. And it's diluted the jobs because now there's more people working. But I don't know, like, are these people qualified like for IT and finance, or is it just work at the grocery store? I'm not sure. But Canada's going out very fast. Heavy inflation. The housing market's a crisis. So people in Canada, they're not buying gold for investments. They buy houses. So they force the price of the houses up. But then all they're doing with the houses, so a rich guy will buy 10 houses and rent them out. And that's that's how he's making money. What is that? That's what they did in 2008, and see how good that worked out. So I don't know. I thought it was like BlackRock buying all the houses, but I didn't see that. I just saw that. What else? My mind's on this shit. Unfortunately, I was like, what the fuck did they send me? I could have sworn I asked for 1 ounce gold holders, and there's no fucking way I can hold 1 ounce. And again, I've got to include this in it, the case. And these aren't as good as the silver holders. So I'm pretty upset about this. Again, that's why I don't really, I go up to this mall tomorrow. I hope they have a store where I can buy the 1 ounce. I'll go to Coach and see, but these are now these only cost $6, but then shipping was $6. So it's only 12 or 13. No big deal, but it is the idea that I thought I had coming. But this is supposed to hold 20 1 ounce gold coins. There's no way this can hold 20. So anyway, the AI guy fucked up at Amazon. And again, I would never buy clothes from Amazon. I don't know how people buy clothes. Like, are you kidding me? There's no way I'd buy clothes. I mean, I'd get them and it would be 2 sizes too small. And what am I going to do? Now I got to return it. So I'm going to try to return this and see if they got a bigger one, but it's just frustrating. Anyway, stock market is only a few stocks going up. That's serious trouble. And again, this goes back to gambling. Why do you do this? Because you're trying to make money with your money. And you're not being properly advised. And then the little con game goes in where, buy Amazon and buy Apple and buy zippity doodah, whatever they are. It goes up every day. Yeah, how realistic is that? I was riding my bike today, and it was the same. But it's only these 5 stocks that are going up, and everything else is getting tanked. As it will, with the high interest rates, is going to kill the market. Plus, the inflation is going to kill the market. What else? Just be careful of the banks. He's saying, it's half government owned, so I'm safe. They're not going to let the banks fall. They don't have a choice. How are they going to bail out the banks? You got to print money to bail them out. You can't print what you don't have. You can't keep printing the money. You're giving money to the Ukraine, all those billions. You're going to have to bail out the banks. Keep in mind, the banks run the government, so the banks are basically bailing themselves out. And then if you're not buying gold's the only way you can maintain and get ahead. So if the banks are just going to print more money, at what point do they realize this is worthless? This is the whole argument. This goes worthless soon. How are you going to bail out a bank with this? So keep an eye, I think, near the end of the year, probably right after the election, they'll have US dollar 2. And they'll come out with that. I don't know, CBDCs or not. Be leery of these states that say, you can use gold here. I don't know, like Texas, let's say. I don't know. I think they are Florida, whatever. But you don't want to. I don't want to go into the grocery store and it's a $30 order and I can use an ounce of silver. I don't want to waste my silver for $30. That's not the point of it. So all they're saying is we'll take your gold and silver at market rates, but it's going to be 10 times this. I mean, silver's going to hit 2,000 an ounce. Do you want to buy cornflakes for $30? I don't think so. So I don't really know that they get what they're doing. Yeah, we'll allow gold and silver as currency. Of course, who wouldn't? My barbecue guy does. He'll take my ounce of silver for $30. He'll do that all day. But I don't want to do it. I don't want to let it go for only 30. That's down the road. As long as I got money and credit, I'm using that. So the credit cards, I'm a little unclear if we have to pay them off or not. So you owe $5,000 on your Chase card. And it's $5,000 in US dollar. This goes away. It's zero now because you've printed it to death. What happens? Well, I can't pay my credit card because I don't have money to pay it with anymore. So are they going to bring out new money and then just transfer the balance? So now you owe $5,000 of the new currency? Or are they just going to go away? And if your bank goes out, you got a Chase card. Now Chase is gone. Does somebody else, JP Morgan, take over your credit card? Or is it gone? There isn't even a bank to sell it to pay off. This is where I don't think they're going to let all this money go away, but this will be interesting. I was also reading that Wells Fargo and Chase and another couple of smaller banks are closing a lot of their, banks with the lobbies, full serve banks. And, everything will just be electronic anyway. Like, do you really need to go into your bank? And I thought about it. I go, yeah, if I get 10 grand in, I don't want to leave it in the bank. Or how do I get my cash out is my question, right? So I can use it to buy gold with my debit card. He'll take it. But how do I actually get money? I mean, how am I going to get money out of the bank? If I need to go to the bank, get $500, or I go to the casino, how am I going to get money? How am I going to give the casino money to play poker with? And then I win, presumably. Now I got $1,000 cash from the casino. Where do I go? I can't go to the bank. I guess I can go to the ATM at the bank. I assume that'll be working, but I don't even know. How do I get my money into my account? And how do I get money out of my account? This isn't sure. Right now I go to the teller and say, give me $500 or here's $500 and I can pay rent. And that's it. So I don't really understand. Excuse me. I really don't understand. What do we do if we get money? What do we do if you need money? I mean, you go play poker. What is MGM all of a sudden going to say? Oh, yeah, use your debit card, use your credit card. They're cash business. They don't want anybody to know what they're doing. Strictly cash. So this will be very interesting. The dollar will go out. We're not sure how long that will take. Like I say, it's like the Titanic. We know it's sinking, but you're not really sure when. And so the banks are going out, but we're really not sure when, but we know they will. We know the dollar's going to zero. We know gold's going to the roof, going to the moon, and we're just not sure when. We know what else? Silver's going to the moon. We know BRICS is coming out with gold-backed currency. So we know all this. These are not conspiracy theories or opinions. This is what it is. I mean, Russia's got 25,000 tons of gold. China's got 60. Those are not guesses. That's the facts. As good as as what we hear. right? Mark McGuire or Egon or anybody saying that. But I think when the shit hits the fan, you better be ready. But again, I'm questioning CBDCs. I think it'll be like Bitcoin. I think you'll have the option, but you won't have to. Now, maybe certain government things they'll give you, make you get a CBDC account, but I think I'll keep my money in Chase or JP Morgan or Wells Fargo. I don't think that's going away because the banks don't want it to go away. The banks are making all this money. You think they want to lose it? That's my argument. I was talking to my buddy, and he's talking about, CBDC and get to the woods and go up north and protect yourself and everything. And I says, do you honestly think McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's, well, I guess maybe Burger King, McDonald's and Wendy's and Taco Bell are all going out of business? These billion-dollar food companies are going out, and Costco and Sam's Club. Do you think they're all just going to lay down and go, oh, yeah, you're right, we're going out of business? These are billion-dollar companies. They're not going anywhere. What are you talking about? So I don't see that at all. Again, it's so much hearsay that you hear that you don't know what's real or not. But that's why I use the logic on it. Logically, these companies they're not gonna go without a fight. And then how about MasterCard and Visa? What are they gonna just go? These are trillion-dollar companies that do all the credit cards. Are they just gonna, oh yeah, you're right, we're gonna go away? Because I don't know. Okay, so we have CBDCs. Would we have a MasterCard and a Visa? You tell me they're just going away, and then my balances go with, and I got CBDCs. So I don't buy that. I don't buy that anybody will take it, and I don't buy that these credit card companies and these food companies are just gonna fold up the tent. No fucking way. I just, sorry. And I just see the whole system collapsing for these, the George Soros gang and all the elitists who are trying to make us all slaves. I see that caving in. I don't see that lasting because they don't understand economics. You can't just come out with the CBDC and force everybody. That if anything, it's like the electric cars. You can't force people to buy electric cars. People want it, they buy it. The market determines everything. That's another thing I was telling the ladies. I said I said Keynesians are communists. It's market control, but we're Austrians. We're free market. We control the market. Coke can't just go to $20 a bottle. If we say no, Coke goes out of business. So they're not stupid, but we control the price and we control the markets. And so they, it's always going to be that, because if we don't buy it, it sits on the shelves. They go broke, and no company wants to do that. So that's it. But I'm seeing prices more go down than go up. Gas still $3.38. I filled up, not a problem. I just went to eat at Coney Island, and it was reasonable. My hamburger is still $6, and a few things creep up a little. My broccoli's like $2.99 a pound, or my red leaf lettuce is up to $2.40 a pound or something. But it's such a little thing. Even if it goes up $1, you don't even notice it. But that's where we're at. So things have gone up, and now they've kind of leveled off. But it's that dollar going out, right? And so I'm not sure how it goes out. It's got nothing to do with us being the reserve currency. It's got nothing to do with it. It's how much money you've printed. And now that we're not the reserve currency, it's all coming back, and that's the end of the dollar. But how it happens, I don't know. I mean, I know nobody wants it. Okay, so put it like that. It's the hot girl turned 60, and now nobody wants her. Well, at what point does she realize that nobody wants her? It's not. It doesn't happen overnight. So at what point will it happen that the dollar collapses, and what do we do about it? So we know the only thing we can is buy gold and silver. That's the lifeboat. So as I explained the Titanic to this lady, I was teaching class in the thing. So I'm teaching. I says to hit the iceberg, it's sinking, and you need to find a lifeboat, or you're gonna go to the bottom of the Atlantic. But the only lifeboats are gold and silver. And I said, it's the same thing with the dollar. As it goes out, though, it's filling up, but your only lifeboat's gold. It's not any other currency. You can't go to the British pound or the yen or any other currency because they're all going to zeros. That's why I give BRICS credit. They're smart enough to realize that's what's happening, and we need gold, and we're going to have gold back currency, and we'll be okay. So give them credit for that, and give the U.S. no credit because they got a bunch of idiots running it, not understanding the value of gold, which is just blows my mind. So that's we have to have the stupidest people running our dollars and our banks. I mean, Jesus, are you kidding me? And then they're so over leveraged with the derivatives. So when the gold price goes up, they're going to get caught, and they're all going to lose trillions of dollars because they're all in these derivatives of watching gold price go down because they think they can control it, and the market is. So the Titanic, the way off the Titanic is the lifeboat, and the way off the dollar is gold and silver. So that's what you need to understand, which you guys do. And at what point do people realize the Titanic is sinking, right? So if you watch the movie, it's sinking, but people don't realize it. We're going down in the water. We're going down, and then there's that point of, fuck, we're going to sink. But it's not right away. It's not when it hit the iceberg. It's not when it's even starting to sink. It happens much later. Even though the boat's sinking, they still don't realize that the boat's going to sink. And then finally they do. And that's what we're going to do with the dollar. It's going to be, it's sinking because you printed too much, right? So let's get the reason. You printed too much, it's not prices. Inflation is printing too much, and it's sinking, but you really don't see it. We're on the boat, but we're not seeing it's deeper in the water. And that's the problem. So we don't really know when we're going to sink because we don't see it yet. And I think that's what happens with the prices when all of a sudden you've got to, tuna's $35. That, I believe, is when you realize the dollar is gone, it's sunk, and now you scramble for the gold. And so we're 4 or 5 steps ahead of that. We know that's where we're headed because the only way to stop what's happening with the dollar going down is gold. If all of a sudden you backed your dollar by gold, it would stop everything. So when people say, well, we have the gold in Fort Knox, but we don't need to declare. My point is, well, why would we keep paying $1.5 trillion every 90 days to pay the interest on the debt? If we have gold, why wouldn't we pay the debt out now? Seems simple enough. So that's my answer to that is bullshit. We don't have any. If we did, we would stop these interest payments. And you can't say, well, we'll just print the interest, not a big deal. Well, it is, because the more you print, the less it's worth, and it's faster and faster and faster. At the end of 1923, the Reichsmark in Germany, they were printing $1 billion a day. And how did that work out? Yeah, okay. We got that wheelbarrow full of money as it's worth less and less. So they printed, and it went to zero. I mean, that's what happened. So I guess there's one thing I want to show you. I'm thinking, boy, I'm remembering a lot now. Where did I put it? So there was a thing on Japanese. I probably didn't save it. Anyway, the Japanese came out with like a 20,000 yen and a 10,000 yen. Let's see. All right, so here's how you know your dollar's gone. Japan rolled out a 10,000, a 5,000, and a $1,000 yen. When you start doing this, your money has no value. So Japan's gone. Say goodbye to Japan. And I worked at Toyota. I told them that was going to happen, and nobody believed me. So go fuck off, everybody. Once the U.S. does this, then I think that's when you know it's over, right? That's when it's worth zero. So why would you need a $10,000 note? But everywhere there was $1 trillion note in Zimbabwe and in Venezuela, there was big numbers. So anytime this happens, and so as soon as we see that, we know we're done. Which we'll probably see near the end of the year. They'll roll out new 2024 US dollars. See, notice Japan doesn't mention the inflation. They don't mention anything. They just, we're issuing new dollars. And they'll blame Putin or whatever. That's the inflation, right? You're dead. So whenever you start seeing the euro do that and us do that and Switzerland do that and all these do that, you know it's all over. So Japan, say goodbye. India will probably be next. That's why they need the BRICS gold-backed currency. And then we'll be after that. Canada will be right there. And so they're all issuing new dollars in 2024. But Japan doesn't want to go to the CBDCs. It doesn't really work. The only place that's ever been tried is China, and it didn't work there. Nobody wants it. They all want their money in gold in their savings account. They don't want CBDCs. They don't trust the government. You think we're trusting our government here? So I'm not judging that. So this will be interesting when the dollar collapses. What happens to our mortgages and credit cards? Are they going to zero? So in other words, if they issue this new dollars here, right? So we got this, and now this is gone, and they've come out with this new crap. Do I owe my credit card? Because it's in this. How do I can't pay it. This isn't used anymore. We now got to go to this. So how do I pay the credit card and the mortgage? And it should all reset. That's what I'm hoping, but I don't imagine the banks sit there and go, yeah, you know what? Let's let everyone, you owe us 10 grand, forget it. I mean, but I don't know what else they do because there is no more money to pay it. And then getting the value of your cars and houses, again, in dollars, it collapses. So then what do you do? So what else was I wandering with? So that's kind of it. So again, I think we got it covered, but we can see what's happening. Zimbabwe, I'm trying to find out how that gold-backed currency is doing. I'm not quite sure I got it yet. I can't find it's doing great or it's doing shitty. I thought it was 2.5 tons. And then I'm hearing 1.5 tons and some other minerals and some other currencies. I don't know, but that's really not a gold-backed currency. It's a slight gold-backed. Real gold-backed currencies, it's gold, right? Gold is backing your currency. But if you only have a little bit of gold and you're using minerals and you're using other dollars, you're really not on a gold-backed currency. So I'm curious if Zimbabwe can keep the quantity of money low to keep the dollar going. Otherwise, they're going to say, well, look, gold-backed currency doesn't work. And as I was reading you the other day, it's the best thing that's ever happened. Again, we'll read that. Where is it here? So the best period of economic growth was 1879 to 1914. Worldwide growth was 4.9% on the gold standard. So don't tell me the gold standard doesn't work. It's the most profitable time ever from 1879 to 1914. Money supply can only go up 2.5% because you can only find 2.5% more gold. Prices drop due to greater productivity. The change in cash was less than the change in goods, the productivity. The percentage increase in cash was less than goods. So you printed a little bit of money, but your goods went up far more because everything was on gold and stable. And that's the key to everything. That's why you go on gold and you have a gold-backed currency. And that's what the Russians are doing. And that's what we're going to do. So that's where we're headed, my friends. So I think that's it. I'm not going to, I don't know if I'll do a show tomorrow or not because I want to, the mall's open 10 to 5. It's an hour away. So probably want to leave by 10, get up there, hang out, have a nice dinner, and then come back at 6 or 7. I'll probably be too tired. Anyway, we'll be back on Friday for that, but we'll keep an eye on gold. So keep an eye on COMEX. It should go really high tomorrow because we won't be there to do these derivatives to lower the price. And if we're not there to lower the price, then the gold should just keep running. So we might see 2,400 tomorrow. Let's just take a check on where it's at. Gold price. Well, I got it at the futures at 23.65. Let's see. Every once in a while, this doesn't come up. This site. Oh well, we'll have to check it. But the futures are 23.65. But I think it went up. I think it was like 23.50, so it was up like $25 today. Yeah, it was pretty even. It was 23.69, 20. But again, that's the futures. Where the gold price themselves, I can't tell. Anyway. Keep an eye on that tomorrow. I will too. And if it really jumps, I'll do a class. But anyway, baseball should be a full day. Good luck on the games tonight. Good luck tomorrow. We'll go through them one more time. Cleveland over 8, 3 units. Boston 3 units. The Yankees over 9, 5 units. No, I think that's 3. Houston 5 units. Atlanta 5 units. Philly under 7.5, 5 units. Minnesota over 9, 3 units, and Milwaukee 3 units. That's baseball. We touched football yesterday, the NFL Week 1. If you want to hear that, but again, we got to wait on who's quarterbacking. You got to keep an eye on injuries. So it's a little early to make picks. We can kind of make superficial picks. Oakland, San Diego under, but we've got to wait for injuries. But that's where we're at. And then I got to check the site. I got to make sure all my passwords are new for this year. And the prices are good. And I think I changed the bowl picks to this year. And then I think I got to add for this class, charge a little bit for the pick class. And that's about it. So have a great 4th of July. Take care. Be safe. www.teaserking.com if you need to email me. And have a nice holiday. All right, everybody. Take care.